Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to authors from all over the world about their books, about their process. And by the way, we've been doing this, we're just entering our 16th year, so we're pretty excited about that. Are you trying to figure out what to read next? How do you even decide what to read next? Well, we're here to help you pick. Look at this book here, Gripped by Guyana. Gripped by Guyana. I even rehearsed the title a few times, almost got it wrong. Not only do I have the book here, but I also have the author with us. Please welcome Merle. We even rehearsed the name and I got it wrong. Merle Kindred. Merle Kindred. Welcome, Merle.
Hello.
Gripped by Guyana. I guess it's about the country Guyana?
Yes, it is. And when I first received news of my posting and shared it with friends, they said, "Oh, you're going to Africa." And I said, "No, that would be Ghana. I'm actually going to what used to be British Guiana, now called Guyana. And will be on the northeast coast of South America."
South America, not Africa. And
Exactly.
You said you were posted there. Was this your job? Or you had
It was a volunteer assignment. I've done international development my entire adult life. I've been in and out of various countries for almost 60 years. And this particular assignment was 6 months long. It was with a Canadian organization called CUSO International, which started exactly the same year that the US's Peace Corps began in the early 60s. So I was posted to do a task based in Georgetown, the capital city of Guyana.
Now, you are, let's get this straight because even I was confused. You corrected me. British Columbia is in Canada.
Yes.
And you're on the West Coast, just like California, so we're in the same time zone.
Yes, we are. And British Columbia is on the Pacific. It's a vast province.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the area of California, Oregon, and Washington combined.
Wow. Now, are you ever surprised how little Americans know about Canada?
I'm not surprised at all.
Okay. And were you posted to Guyana from British Columbia, or were you living somewhere else?
No, I was based in Penticton, British Columbia. I'm here on the south central coast of the province in the Okanagan Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the unceded territory of the Syilx people of the Okanagan Nation, which runs here in the valley and carries on into Washington State.
Yeah, I'd seen some of your footnotes about you wanted to give notice that about the lands and whose lands they are.
Yes, we always, we're encouraged to do that.
Nice.
To be respectful of the land that we just showed up on as people who came and never left.
Yeah. Now, we have a photograph. I'm guessing this is in Guyana.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And wow, what a beautiful, just a one picture paints what a beautiful picture of that country. Tell us about the photo.
Yes, it's a picture of myself and my indigenous guide, Marcy, of the Makushi people, one of the 9 indigenous tribes in Guyana. And we were birding. I had flown from Georgetown. I had a long holiday weekend. So I flew into the interior, and I didn't know a lot about the birds of South America. I am a birder. I'm a middling birder. I'm not that proficient. I've only been doing it for a few years. But I headed into the interior, and we climbed to high elevation. That would be the Essequibo River in the background. And that's the 4th largest river in South America. And I spent a long weekend with this young woman who was well experienced with being able to identify the birds, but also the flora, the fauna, the trees, the insects, of her particular region. It was a wonderful trip.
Yes. Now tell us a bit about the book itself.
All right.
It's a memoir, right?
Pardon?
It's a memoir?
It is a memoir. I've titled it Gripped by Guyana, a memoir of purpose and adventure. I was there to do a job in Guyana. There was a local NGO, a non-government organization, which was wanting to update their strategic plan. And I knew how to put something like this together. So there was a lot of talking with people in the group and looking at projects that they were working on and putting together something that they could then, it provided sort of a structure for the work they were doing. And I also made it to be something that they could revamp in future without having to have someone come in from another culture. Mm-hmm.
Who do you see reading this book?
I think it would be people who are interested in travel, who are interested in adventure, which is why I put it in the title, because I did a lot of traveling beyond the settled capital, which held about 90% of the population. I did a lot of traveling by road and by river and by footpath into the deep interior. So it would be people seeking adventure, people who want to know about a part of the world that most people don't know about. Yeah. I mean, we talked about that in the introduction, the fact that people thought some of my friends thought I was going to Africa. No, I was actually in South America. And also for people who are interested in biodiversity. There are about 36 extremely very significant biodiverse regions on the planet, and Guyana is one of them. It has over 900 species of birds. 500 of them are endemic. They're there all the time. Another quarter of the species will fly north as far as the Arctic to feed and then come back to Guyana. And another quarter of the bird population will go to the very tip of South America, again, to feed and to breed, and then fly back to tropical regions. And also Guyana is extremely rich in natural resources, abundant hardwoods, gold, bauxite, which is used to make aluminum, diamonds, and also the many rare species of animals, insects, plant life. It's truly a treasure chest, and it's not very populated. The landmass is about the equivalent of England, Scotland, and Wales. And that particular region has 64 million people. Yeah. Guyana has 750,000 people.
Holy, yeah. I like to read about things that I've not really heard much about. And just talking to you for this 5 or 10 minutes, there's so many things I don't know about Guyana. And so that's what makes it fascinating. And that's exactly the kind of book I like to read. And I'm glad that you got to go and have the experience and that you wrote about it so we can hear about the experience. Tell me about the weather extremes there in Guyana.
It's actually a fairly mellow place. They do have a couple of rainy seasons, and they have 4 different types of land, if you will. There's the coastal floodplains, which is where I lived when I was in Georgetown. But when I was in the interior, I was deep into rainforests. I was also into savanna areas that would flood during the rainy season. And there were also the mountains of Guyana. And the country is surrounded by, there's Venezuela to the west of it, and then there's Suriname, which used to be Dutch Guyana, to the east of it, along with French Guyana. So it's a coastal city, and yes, just an amazingly diverse geography. And as I say, the just the wildlife that's there is phenomenal.
Now, I know, I'm certain there's probably several native languages there, but is English, is that the adopted language of the country?
Right, yes, you're correct.
Because there's a British.
Yes, it was because it was British Guiana.
Mhm.
English became the language of the country, and that remains so today. But the nine indigenous tribes each have their own languages, and they're trying to retain them as best they can. But we know that indigenous languages are being lost throughout the world, and it's occurring in Guyana also, which is extremely sad.
This is the most amazing. I know I'm kind of a nerd, but this is the most amazing book I've heard of in a long time. I only read nonfiction, and so I'm always looking for my next book. And how do you pick your next book? Well, when I could hear a little bit from an author and about them, what the book's about, it really draws me in. So I appreciate you took the time, Merle, to come talk to us about this. We're way past our time. They're giving me the signal, but you want to give us any last thoughts about the book, about I'm going to say it correctly, Guyana, or anything else you want to talk about?
Just that it's available on Amazon, either Amazon.com or Amazon.ca for here in Canada, and it's available as both a paperback and an e-book. And it is making its way in the world. I'm getting a very good response on it. And I'm now working on a second book about my dozen years in and out of India. And I was in the state of Kerala, the most progressive, one of the most progressive states in the country. I'm working on that, and I hope to be your guest next year once I get my India book published.
I would love to have you back anytime, because you're a fascinating guest and a fascinating subject for me. So thank you, Merle, for coming on. The book is Gripped by Guyana, a memoir of purpose and adventure. Thanks, Merle, and looking forward to having you back again.
Thank you.
And for our go ahead. For our guests, don't go anywhere. We're going to have another author right after this.